So I wanted to take some time today to cover the latest information regarding Ghost of Tsushima, which I hope becomes a line of videos where I cover PlayStation Studio games, details, release dates, rumors, news, etc. In this video, we're going to cover the latest details for Ghost of Tsushima broken down into several sections: story, playstyle and progression, combat, and the overall world. First, let me know if you've pre-ordered Ghost of Tsushima or are you still waiting for more information and gameplay to come out. I personally pre-ordered it right after the last state of play. I was already interested in the game but took the plunge after that showcase. But what about you guys? So comment below if you've pre-ordered the game or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first section of the video, the story. The story revolves around Jin, who was trained to be a samurai from a very young age, and the Mongols invaded and wiped out most of the samurai on the island of Tsushima, leaving you as one of the last. As the game moves forward and Jin transforms into the ghost, he will have to give up principles he used to follow. Reading a quote from Sucker Punch, "He was raised in the code of the samurai, and he has to give up some ideas of who he thought he was to become the ghost to save his home. And without spoiling anything, I can say he has to make some personal sacrifices in order to do what is right for the people of the island." So it's clear we might have to make choices we don't like, but they must be done for the sake of the island and the people. Honestly, this sounds very Vegeta-like. Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z and Super, obviously. Not sure why Vegeta came to mind right away, but the idea of needing to do what is done, even if it's dark, sounds like him to me, which obviously sounds like an epic story. But to keep going, what we saw in the state of play, which was the infiltration of a Mongol base and destroying it, was just side action and not a part of the mainline story. The mainline story is focused on Jin transforming from the samurai to the ghost, with stories that branch off the main story as you meet people trying to survive in the world. There are many side stories in the game that will allow players to build strong relationship with characters, but they're not on the map, they're hidden, so I would assume you need to explore to find them via smoke in the distance or animal guidance of sorts, things along those lines. The game's length was also revealed. It can take 30 to 50 hours if you're playing outside of the main mission and exploring side activities. I'm not a fan of overly lengthy games, but there have been a few games that have kept me in that long or more, but their missions have to be meaningful, and I hope that's the case here. But moving over to progression and playstyle. You start off as the samurai, but gradually become the ghost. You're not locked to playing either or and can switch between the samurai and the ghost. There is a word of caution here, because if you decide to play as the samurai the entire game, it will be challenging because the Mongol army is large and it won't be as easy to tackle them as the in-your-face samurai the entire time, as opposed to being the ghost and stealth killing your way through. Players get to decide how the ghost progresses and where your skill points go to, what armors you upgrade, etc. So you can basically mold how the character evolves. You can reduce the shine effect of items you pick up in the world. They said the reason they allow you to pick up items while on horse is so you don't have to break the rhythm of the game. I personally agree with this. Games don't have to be 100% grounded in reality, so this makes it more fun to rack up material, for me anyway. The flute we saw Jin playing in the trailer is the only one in game, but it was not revealed what it's used for. Maybe there is a Snorlax in the world we do not know about yet. I'm asking the real questions here. You can hunt for animals, but there is no specific benefit of doing so. They're mainly there for immersion, so don't expect some Red Dead style of skinning animals for material. There are multiple ways to get outfits in the game: main story, side story, buying them in villages, or by exploring. So this is very similar to Breath of the Wild, and I'm wondering if, like Breath of the Wild, do the different biomes, which we'll get to in the world part of the video, affect you in any way? Because in Breath of the Wild, say if you want to go to the volcanic side of the map, you need clothing that can handle that. Nothing like this was teased for the game, but I just wanted to put that out there. Now moving over to combat. Combat in the game is challenging. It's been confirmed that you can go down in a matter of 2 to 3 strikes from your enemies, so you really have to pick your battles, strategize, and execute your moves accordingly. Don't expect to mow down groups of enemies like nothing. The person we saw playing in the State of Play video was a skillful player. They've really taken it upon themselves to make this game authentic in the lethality of sword fighting. But to continue, the standoff mode can be activated at any time. That little scenic movie-like standoff mode we saw in the State of Play video isn't just for specific moments, it can be triggered whenever you want. It was also revealed that those battles are also difficult and require some finesse. In terms of the little yellow balls, the little yellow ball things at the bottom left belong to Jin's resolved meter, and balls will fill up when you hit enemies. They didn't want to say how it's used, but it was used in the State of Play demo at about 9 minutes. Just one ball was used, but it's clear this is for stronger and probably more special attacks. Especially the double press of the L1 and R1 buttons reminds me of something like Kratos' Rage mode. In terms of battle styles, there will be more than 2 stances in the game. We only saw the 2 stances when we saw the samurai gameplay, the combat gameplay, where he changed from his original stance to the water stance. There will be more than just 2 in the final game. In terms of weapons, the main weapon throughout the entire game will be the katana, but there will be other weapons and gadgets as well, and one of them we already know is the bow. In terms of your armor and how that affects you, if you wear heavy armor, you'll be less agile but harder to damage, and vice versa. If you wear lighter armor, you'll be more agile in movements but easier to kill. For me personally, I like being agile and probably will focus on playing like the Ghost for most of my playthroughs, so I'll be rocking that light armor. Now moving over to the final section, the world. The map we saw in the State of Play video was a small zoomed in portion of the starting area, and the actual map is huge in comparison according to Sucker Punch. I personally am not a fan of huge open worlds because it makes it annoying when you have to do a mission on the other side of the map and you end up spending way too much time just traveling. The game will bring fast travel, of course, but something that will probably help with this is that the game is dense with activities, so hopefully that means less travel time between missions and more actually doing stuff in game. They also want players to get lost in the world. That is why there aren't any markers. There are hidden stories, items, etc. waiting for players to find them and explore them. So I'm guessing here again is you getting guidance from something like smoke signals, animals, etc. And finally, the biomes in the game. Reading a quote from Sucker Punch, Tsushima Island covers the biomes you can find on mainland Japan, from snowy mountains to bamboo forests to waterfalls and rolling grasslands. It's all there. Now, here's the point I was making earlier. There are different biomes, but do they affect gameplay? I'm not really sure. This wasn't questioned by anyone or confirmed by Sucker Punch. The only reason I bring this up is because they have stated that they have taken inspiration from Zelda, Breath of the Wild, along with Shadow of the Colossus. So I was wondering, like Breath of the Wild, do biomes affect you? I'll also note that this isn't something like a deal breaker or anything. I'm just curious. But that's it. That's all the new information we got for Ghost of Tsushima. Let me know if any of this made you more excited for the game. Maybe get a special edition. I'm not really sure. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps. And subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "It's time for the ghost." If you're excited for this game, like I personally am, destroy the comment section with "It's time for the ghost," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now, I'll check you guys out on the next one.